Okay na. Okay, so good afternoon. The purpose of this lecture is for you to be acquainted as to the last topics that will be included in your final exam. Okay, so I have sent already the soft copy of these topics. This lecture will cover both the school culture and organizational leadership. Okay, so first we'll be talking about school culture. Okay, so if you recall, I gave you an activity to which you will be interviewing in schools, and part of what you will be looking into would be the concept of school culture and at the same time organizational leadership. No? So I hope that activity somehow, if you have taken it seriously, no, I hope that activity somehow had given you takeaways, particularly in terms of um, perhaps how um, leaders, no, school leaders, no, especially the school principal, most likely um, highlighting the principal's role in terms of um, the school cult or the culture that is perpetuated or that the culture that is perpetuated in such an organization. Okay, so because you see, a leader is very vital, no, in terms of whether a culture would thrive or not. No? So it depends upon these two topics are actually interrelated. No? So in a way that leadership comes in, no, when we talk about or culture in an organization, no? So in the context of schools, we refer into we refer on this concept as school culture. Okay, but what is school culture? So in the soft copy I have sent you, there were several elements or definitions of school culture. But basically, if we look into the word culture, no, so we bring in the concept of beliefs, of attitudes, of rules. Okay, so school culture generally refers to the beliefs, perceptions, relationships, attitudes, rules, written or unwritten, uh, which in one way or the other shape and influence every aspect of how a school functions. Okay? So, mga gawa, mga nakagawian, mga paniniwala, mga pananaw, no? Na tinuturing nating mahalaga sapagkat ito ay nakaka-impluwensya ng kung paano ano ba mag-function ang isang organization. So this spells a difference on whether or not an organization like a school would succeed on its operations. Okay? So school culture encompasses more concrete issues such as the physical and emotional safety of students, the orderliness of classrooms and public spaces, or the degree to which a school embraces racial, ethnic, linguistic, and cultural diversity. So even issues on inclusivity are also part of what we call school culture. But basically, no, school culture are not only the uh, intangible ones, but even the tangible ones. No, that's why um, even the physical structure, the orderliness, um, of classrooms. No? So even when it comes to what is being prioritized in terms of physical structure or infrastructure, that also um, is included in the concept of school culture. No? So syempre, hindi tayo lalayo sa ating pagbibigay ng halimbawa. Ang titingnan natin ay ang konteksto ng CSU. So ano ba ang naobserbahan nyo pagdating sa school culture ng CSU? Kung naalala ninyo, I kept mentioning that when it comes to some practices, no, that we have in Carig compared to other campuses of CSU. Like I think I had mentioned that we are lenient when it comes to um, wearing of uniforms, no, because those are also part, no, of it's a tangible, it's a physical indicator of this what we call school culture, no, wearing of uniform, compliance to the rules, no, of the school are also or also would also form part of what we call school culture. So napansin siguro ninyo na sa Carig medyo lenient tayo. Actually, lenient tayo kumpara sa Andrews pagdating sa wearing of uniforms, no? Dahil diyan yung safety and security kung minsan ay are put at risk, no? Kaya nga 'di ba, I don't know if you are aware, but there are instances where students who are not really enrolled at CSU Carig could just come in and join in classes, no? Um, Not for the purpose of what? Of really learning, but to commit crimes, no, like theft, no. So hindi ko alam kung narinig na ninyo yon, yung may mga ganong issue na may mga pumapasok na hindi naman talaga natin estudyante at hindi enrolled, no, para lang magnakaw o nakawan ang mga classmates, no? Meron akong narinig na ganong issue. I'm sure you also have you also have heard such, no? So these are, bakit kaya nangyayari to? Kasi yun nga, katulad ng nabanggit ko, medyo lenient o lenient talaga tayo, no? Medyo hindi nagiging consistent yung pag-check ng uniform at kung meron mang rules, medyo lax tayo when it comes to the implementation of these rules. Okay? So, even when it comes to classroom management, what did you notice? Or even when it comes to the prioritization of the management or the administration when it comes to physical structures or infrastructures, no? So, you might have noticed that ilang years na ang pandemic pero meron pa rin tayong problema when it comes to classrooms. No? That's why we resort into blended learning even if CHED actually is requiring us that it must be full face-to-face. No? But the reason why we are why we are still conducting blended learning is yun nga because we lack classrooms. Okay? So inclusivity, issues on inclusivity, what do you notice in particular uh, in terms of how inclusive CSU Carig is, no? I think CSU Carig naman is very inclusive, no? Because we acknowledge, no, LGBTQs. In fact, there are programs, activities for LGBTQs in the campus, no? The only issue I think that was not resolved has to do with the compliance as to uniform, no? So may issue noon na kung saan nakipagbunuan pa ang um, I'm safe organization, no, ng CHK regarding sa wearing of ano ba yan, uniforms ng mga LGBTQs, kung pwede ba silang mag-cross-dress, no? So unfortunately, because we are governed by rules, no, kung minsan may mga rules na talagang very rigid ang implementation, may mga rules na very lenient tayo sa pag-implement o very lax tayo sa pag-implement. But nevertheless, culture. That's school culture. Okay. Now, school culture also consists of the norms and shared experiences that evolve over the school's history. Okay. So, culture na rin ang excellence sa CSU. Bakit? Kasi across the years, we had proven for 46 years, if you were there during the opening of the anniversary, you might have watched how CSU had transformed and had evolved into what it is now as a university. And there had been stories, successful stories of course, um, raising the bar, no, of CSU as a state university, no, when it comes to SUC leveling, when it comes to criteria on performance based indicators, even when it comes to licensure examination performance. I think the university had proven itself as a higher educational institution, no? Not only in the fields where the university is recognized, but I think across the programs that it offers, we had proven that indeed we are what? We are the UP of the North, sabi nga nila daw, no? So it is described as the character of a school that gives a school qualities beyond its structures, resources, and practices, no? So what is so unique with CSU? Parang ganun. So in terms of infrastructure, nakita ninyo yung malagriegong tawag dyan, struktura, no, that was actually the initiative of the then President Roger Perez, no? So medyo talagang infrastructure ang kanyang priority noon. Yung accreditation, ngayon yan, no? Nung time ni President Orduga, talagang bumalik tayo sa accreditation initiatives kasi that was not actually, that's the least priority of Dr. Perez during his term, no? But it was during the term of Dr. Orduhate Alvarado, no, that we again were reaccredited to all our programs, both in the undergraduate and in the graduate degree. In terms of resources, marami tayo, no? Kaya nga kung napansin niyo ang daming mga projects kasi we don't just rely on what the government provides, but the school also takes initiatives in the forms of its IGPs. So may mga projects tayo na self-sustaining because the school tries its exert efforts on capitalizing onto these projects. Okay, so what are the elements of school culture? So there are a lot actually. We can take them one by one, but you have it in your GC. I think I've sent this in your GC, no, the elements of school culture. Okay. So siguro we take them one by one. Okay. In terms of the different elements, there were several. No, what makes school culture one that is positive, no? So we have collegiality, no, from the word collegial, no? So an atmosphere which is less threatening. There is a hierarchy, but the hierarchy is so clear that one knows who is in authority and what is the responsibility of those who are in authority and those who are um, and the subordinates, no? So sabi dito, the school atmosphere is friendly. You work in an atmosphere where responsibility and authority are shared by everyone. You can be yourself. You have not to put your best foot forward to impress others because of course you are judged not by whom you know, but in fact by what you can give to the organization or by what you uh, but by what you have in terms of siguro abilities, no? Okay. So that's collegiality. We also have experimentation. So what about experimentation? Okay. The atmosphere encourages experimentation, and so we'll welcome mistakes as part of the learning, because you see, no organization is perfect. No, even administrators may make bad decisions. No, what do you mean by bad decisions? When decisions are not considering the welfare of the employees, no, because it's an administration decision, meaning to say it's a pro-admin decision. At times, the welfare of the employees are set aside, no. But you see, those are just but normal in organizations. No, at times we make mistakes. Even employees themselves, no, who are part of the organization are not perfect, and so um, in a bureaucratic organization, um, mistakes are, of course, equal to punishments, no? Especially if there are violations in the code of discipline, in the code of ethics. Di ba sa part ninyong mga students, kapag merong violations kayo in relation to the code of discipline for students, there are specific punishments. Ganun din po sa mga teachers. So, kung meron kayong revelations, halimbawa ng mga teachers nyo na hindi nagmi-meet sa inyo, at alam ng mga teachers na ito na ang responsibility nila is to give instruction, then these teachers may be tried, no, if you complained, no, or if there were information that indeed they were not able to meet you and teach, no. So they can be tried, and if they are found guilty, ah, um, they are to merit corresponding punishment based on whatever is the recommendation of the tribunal. Okay? So meron na bang mga ganong cases, ma'am? Yes, may mga teachers na tayo na na-call ang atensyon, naharap sa tribunal, naimbestigahan. At anong nangyari, ma'am? Naparusahan ba sila? O syempre, depende yan sa gravity kasi ng offense. At kung first time ba, no? Kung first offense ba, second offense, no? O third offense. Okay? So, why am I telling this? I'm telling this because you see, as future teachers, I think there's a need also for you to be aware that what you do, in anything that you do, you may be facing consequences. No? So, be very cautious of what you do, making it sure that you don't shortchange anyone, especially your students later when you become teachers. Okay? So while you may not be perfect, there may be instances where you absent yourselves from your task because you see we cannot be in control of anything that happens. No? So kung ikaw ay halimbawa family person at um, syempre, kung may anak ka, halimbawa, there can be instances where your services as a mother or as a father is needed, and hence, you have to prioritize, syempre, still your family. No? And because of this, there are instances where you fail to meet your responsibility as an employee, then you still have to make sure that you don't shortchange your students. No? Meaning to say, hindi naman sila lugi pagdating sa um, kung ano ang dapat nilang matutunan. No? Okay, ano pa? High expectations. Okay? So it has been said that one's level of achievement is always lower than one's level of aspiration. No? So set high expectations for high achievements. No? While expectations are subtle and difficult to change, And ano ba, how can this be, how could this be useful in your future roles as teachers? You see, in class, you have to always make it sure that um, program expectations or course expectations are clear. So I think I have always made emphasis that this subject is a board course, and so if it's a board course, though there's a need for you to prioritize, no, um, what equally your subjects, there is a need for you to exert more effort on subjects which are covered in your board examination. So expectations should be communicated to students. No? And what? Okay. So you must be made aware should there be changes as to expectations, you should at least be informed. Okay? Trust and confidence. Students, teachers, school heads, and parents must relate well and work well. Because the foundations of the relationships or the relationship of these stakeholders are essential in the achievement of whatever goal, learning goal there may be. Okay? So there must be trust and confidence in each other in the school community. Okay? What else? Tangible support. So everyone in the school community gets concrete support for the good that they do. Okay? So say for example in your class, okay? Like definitely, when you will be taking the board exam, no, the college will of course extend its support by conducting free review sessions, no. Apart from your course audit, no, there are also scheduled free review sessions. Not only in your Prof Ed and Gen Ed, but even in your major subjects. Okay, so tangible supports also come in the form of monetary support by the college in carrying out your programs and activities. No? So I think nakikita naman ninyo yan sa college or sa administration. Reaching out to the knowledge base, teachers care to grow professionally, to update themselves on content knowledge and pedagogy. Okay, so remember that when you already have your LPTs, you don't rest on that. Meaning to say, you have to continuously upgrade yourselves professionally because that's the only way you could be competent. Especially that there are a lot of new competencies, no, as laid down by not only local qualifications framework, but even international qualifications framework. No? So that you could um, compete well, no? You have to also invest on your professional development. Appreciation and recognition. Alam nyo, nung yesterday, no, the last speaker, um, Regional Director Legres of NEDA, um, puts premium or emphasis on appreciation and recognition of employees as a premise to the making of an organization, uh, particularly in what? Particularly in making a culture of excellence. No? So for an organization to attain that culture of excellence, part of what it should do is to appreciate and recognize its employees. And I think this is psychological. No? Why? Because if you go back onto theories on motivation, no? Part of which is what? Part of what makes us motivated or part of our motivators is what? for us to feel our need for what? For self-esteem, no? And the only way we could do that is when we are recognized or appreciated of the things that we do, no matter how little. Okay? So be very generous because anyway, these are free. No, it won't cost you a penny if you recognize or appreciate your student. Sabi nga nila, don't be stingy with your praise. Bakit? Because you are not made less when you praise others. It won't cost you anything, and it won't in any way make you less of a person if you appreciate others, especially if they do deserve the appreciation. Caring, celebration, humor, no? Kids don't care what you know until they know that you care. So, making students feel that you care about them, no? And that you actually listen to their concerns, okay? Usually these are the very teachers that create a lasting impact in your lives. Oh? So, involvement in decision making. Oh, syempre, awatable naman yan. When you get involved, you are motivated. You feel that you belong unto the organization. And all the more that you, what? That you are engrossed in sharing yourselves. Especially when it comes to your cooperation, when it comes to your effort in what? In helping the organization attain its objectives. Protection of what is important, what schools consider most important must form part of the tradition and must be protected by all means. So what is important in CSU? Yung culture of excellence. For us to preserve our status when it comes to board examination. So much is really expected from you, no? So actually, we were last week we were talking about the result of the course audit, no? And there was a dilemma, particularly among the teachers handling this subject. Why? Because they were trying to ask the collective decision of the faculty of the college of whether uh, of of whether to implement or not. No? May mga ganun pa ring dilemma, no? Pero syempre, ano yan eh, course audit yan eh. It's part of the requirement of the course. So whoever teaches the course are in the position actually to what? To decide. No? So may mga bumagsak. So, syempre, parte yan ng buhay. No? But remember, sabi nga ni R.D. Redress, failure is never final. Okay? I'll just get my charger. Charger. Laptop charger. Bakit? Hmm. Okay, so ayan, traditions, ayan. A school must have an intentional culture-based program on shared values. So what are traditions, no? Just like how just like our own perception of what traditions are. So these are the practices that we continuously do, the shared values, beliefs, and behaviors that are manifested in an organization. Okay? Um, what sort of traditions? When it comes to retention policy, no? Um, are there still elements of politics, for example? I doubt. Kasi ang medtech talagang kapag sinabi nilang matatanggal ka, matatanggal ka. Okay, fourth year ka man, third year ka man, kay may kapit ka man o wala, no? Lalong-lalo na sa mga board courses. Honest and open communication. So no one gets ostracized for speaking up. Okay. Ibig sabihin dito yung open feedbacking. So that when you think there's a need for you to say your mind in terms of what you observe, no? You are free to do so because you don't fear being punished, no, for telling the truth. Okay? So, you speak your mind without fear of being ostracized. Okay? So, those are the elements of a positive school culture. Okay? Now, there are theories on organizational or school culture. So we have Shane's and Hofstede's. Yeah, Shane's and Hofstede. So there were two theories that were incorporated in this particular topic. No? Shane's levels of cultures, organizational culture. Okay. In particular, what are these levels? We have artifacts, spouse values, assumptions, and beliefs. Okay. So organizations, according to Edgar Henry Shane, do not adopt a culture in a single day. So it's not a tawag dyan, you cannot just develop it within a day. It is something that we accumulate or we form, no, through the years, parang ganun. Okay, so instead, it is formed in due course of time as the employees go through various changes, adapts to the external environment, and solve problems. So there were three distinct levels, as I mentioned earlier. As to how these three levels are defined by Shane, we try to look into them individually. Okay? So organizational culture is a system of shared traditions, values, and beliefs which have a great effect on how people behave in organizations. Okay? So, may mga kan ba ma'am? May mga instruments ba na nagbe-measure ng organizational culture? Oh, marami. No? Um, you can browse the net. There are several standardized tool that looks into organizational culture. Okay? So, the principles, ideologies, as well as policies followed by an organization form its culture. Okay? So, it is the culture of the workplace which decides the way individuals interact with each other and behave with people outside the company. Okay? So, how the dynamics is within the group or within the organization um, is dependent on its organizational culture. Okay? So, if there is fear, for example, perhaps that is because communication is cut amongst employees, or there has been a culture of what? Of no feedbacking siguro among the employees or between the employees and the administration. Okay? So, if there is non-compliance to rules, because perhaps that is the practice. Ang gaganda ng mga policies pero hindi naman na-implement. No? Kasi yun na ang nakasanayan. If there is politics, for example, in the selection, promotion of employees, well, that is still part of the practice, and that is still is part of organizational culture. Okay? So, ano ba yung tatlong levels niya? We have artifacts, no? So, what are these artifacts, no, in the PowerPoint? These are visible organizational structures and business processes, no? So if we expound on this, looking into the material I have sent in your GC, the first level daw is artifacts, no? So um it the first level is the characteristic of the organization. Artifacts simply talk about the characteristic of the organization, which can be easily viewed, heard, and felt by individuals. No? So, what are some of the examples of this? No? What are visible in CSU? The dress code of the employees, the dress code of the students, um, the infrastructures, the buildings, okay, the facilities, how the employees behave, even the mission and the vision of the organization are all considered artifacts. Okay, o yan. So balikan ninyo yung interview ninyo noong kayo ay pina-interview at pina-observe. Oh, okay. What are some of the artifacts that you have gathered from that school? Oh, so how do we dress up? At CSU, for example, at CSU Carig, parang lesser ang emphasis. Although siguro kasi nitong semester, yung towards the end of the semester, because of the weather, we were forced actually not to, we were we were not compelled to wear our uniforms. But it has always been the case kasi, no? Kaya mainit o hindi, mapapansin natin hindi tayo masyado nagko-comply sa uniform. 'Di ba? Okay. Masyadong ini-emphasize ang authority halimbawa, no? Dahil uh, anyone who will not comply will be dealt accordingly. Okay? So kung kamay na bakal ang leader, well, that is part also of the behavior of the organization, of the employees or of the administration. And it forms part of the artifacts that we are talking about. Okay? So yan, anything that is visible and that could easily be viewed in the organization, that's artifacts. Espoused values, oh, what are the espoused values? Okay? So, these are the organization's stated values and rules of behavior. So it is how the members represent the organization both in terms of their behavior and the shared values. Their interpersonal behavior and their behavior with outsiders, no? Speak of their espoused values. Even the vision mission, although visible and was considered as part of the artifacts, may also be or is also considered as part of the espoused values because it actually points unto what the organization prioritizes, no? So, or the values of the organization. Okay? So, yan, espoused values. And the last would be the assumptions and beliefs. So what about assumptions and beliefs? No? So the third level, no, are the basic underlying assumptions. So these are deeply embedded but usually taken for granted behaviors which are usually unconscious but constitute the deep essence of culture. Okay? So um these assumptions are well integrated in the work culture, that they are easily recognized in the actions of the employees and the management, no? So simple indicators like having the integrity or being honest. Kung mapapansin niyo, meron bang honesty kapag yung mga employees dinodoktor nila yung DTR nila, no? Or um nalilate sila tapos naka-time in or nagta-time in lang sila tapos nawawala-wala sila sa school halimbawa. Bakit kaya nila ito ginagawa? Hindi kaya dahil nakikita nilang ginagawa din ng mga nasa taas. So, ito ay medyo kung minsan napapansin or madalas hindi na siguro pinapansin, no? Pero ito ay kasama pa rin sa tinatawag na culture. At nandito siya sa level na ito. Ang tawag ay what? Assumptions and beliefs. Or these are what we call the basic underlying assumptions. Okay? So, um, ayan. Now, we also have Hofstede's dimensions of organizational culture. Kay Hofstede naman, ano naman yung kanyang ini-emphasize, no? So there were what? 2, 4, 5, 6. There were 6 dimensions, no, of organizational culture, no? So these are considered as factors that are contributory to the culture of the organization and which may in one way or the other influence the behavior of the employees. So you may find or you may observe that employees are either of these, no? Either egalitarian sila or either um, hierarchical, no? So when it comes to power distance, so what are these dimensions? We have power distance. So what is power distance? This refers to the differences in the work culture as per the power delegated to the employees, no? So in our context at CSU, are there delegation of powers? Yes, no? From the office of the president does not monopolize the power or the authority, but there is delegation or designation of power, no? Kaya nga meron silang VPs at sa campus meron tayong CEO, meron tayong directors, no? At sa college, meron tayong deans at program coordinators. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nasa iisang tao lang yung power. No? So, sabi dito, there is appointment of team leaders. Definitely, no? So, in the level of the university, pati sa DepEd, ganun din no? From regional directors or superintendent, kung ano man ang tawag sa kanila, dinedevolve nila. Sa level ng school, meron tayong principals or head teacher. Okay? So, yan. So, either they are non-hierarchical or egalitarian and hierarchical. No? So, pag sinabi nating non-hierarchical, power is distributed. No? Power is distributed, non-hierarchical or egalitarian. So meaning to say, there, um, the employees, especially so if they are given designations, no? Although in a non-hierarchical organization, irrespective of the position, no? Every individual receive equal benefits and rights. Okay? So, irrespective of where you are in the organization, you are given the equal benefit and rights. Ganun naman tayo sa CSU, no? So, we are both hierarchical pa rin kasi meron tayong hierarchy o structure na sinusundan. Pero when it comes to benefit and rights, we are equal. No? Although, it depends upon the level of you. It depends upon, parang hierarchical din tayo. No? Kasi sabi dito, irrespective of the level. No? So, hindi naman ganun yung characteristic natin sa session. So, therefore, may pagka-hierarchical tayo, no? Those in the higher positions enjoy special treatment. Hindi ko alam kung nakita ninyo yun. Special treatment ba kapag deans, pag CEOs? Medyo, no? So they are delegated with more responsibilities. Okay. Ayan. Anyway. Then, in terms of whether they are collectivist or individualist, no? So ano ba yung collectivist versus individualist? Okay? From the word itself, no? Um, uh, do you rely on the collective effort of the organization, on teamwork, or medyo may pagka-autocratic na um, only the thought and decision of a single individual is considered. Okay? So either you are a collectivist or individualist. When it comes to uncertainty avoidance, it's either you are comfortable or uncomfortable with uncertainties. No? So medyo open, are you open to new experiences or are you traditional? Okay? So that is where it goes. No, sabi dito, addresses the ambiguity of unfamiliar or unusual situations. Do you welcome unfamiliar or unusual situations, or would you rest on um what you already have been conditioned to, yung nakasanayan mo? Gusto mo ba yung nakasanayan mo lang o gusto mo rin mag-explore? Parang ganun. Siyempre, pag organization ka, you always have to open yourselves to new situations, no? Because whether you like it or not, there must be innovations, there must be changes, no? So one concrete example of that was when we faced um the COVID-19, no? As an organization, lahat ng mga organizations, government or non-government, we were all faced with new challenges, no? So, kung low ang tolerance mo sa handling of uncertain situations, then the organization could hardly what? Succeed or could hardly uh, uh, manage siguro, no? So, yan. Then, we also have what we call femininity versus masculinity, no? So, the thought of inclusivity, okay? So, the effect of differences in male and female values on the culture of the organization. Although, in terms of management, no, we welcome female figures. In fact, our ex-president was a female. The OIC now is a male. So, kumbaga, irrespective of sex, actually, no, we don't equate ability to. It's not a sex-linked characteristic. Parang ganun. So, irrespective of what? Of the gender, we believe that responsibilities, abilities as well, no, are irrespective of the gender that you have. Okay? Ano pa? We also have short term versus long term in terms of orientation, goal orientation. Okay? So you have it there. In organizations that focus on the long-term relationship with employees, no? So parang long-term investment as well, no? If short-term, then definitely when it comes to the prioritization of objectives, no? So may mga cost cutting ano kasi yan, hindi kasi kapag admin ka kasi, pag administrative ka kasi pag administration ka kasi you decide on the or for the administration, no? So like in the hiring of employees, especially kung walang plantilya, kaya kung napapansin ninyo mas maraming, bakit kaya ang daming COS, contract of service? Kasi yun yung cost cutting strategy, or kasi yun talaga yung measure or resolution ng yun talaga yung resolution ng organization para ma-manage yung resources niya. No? Okay. So, ayan. Papa. So, yung mga nandun sa nyo, yung organization culture profile, basahin nyo na lang yan, ha? Doon sa inyong, doon sa sinend ko na tawag dyan, handout. Okay? So, school culture matters, no? Research confirms the central role of school culture to school success. So, either positive or negative or toxic school culture contributes to the success indices of a school or of an educational organization. So a positive school culture fosters improvement, collaborative decision making, professional development, and staff and student learning, while the opposite happens to a negative school culture. Okay? So having learned all the elements and the implications, the challenge for the school community is on how to create or maintain a positive school culture. Madali kaya? Siyempre hindi madali. Lalong-lalo na sa isang organisasyon, magkakaiba kayo ng orientation, magkakaiba kayo ng motive, no? And dahil dyan, kailangan talaga ng leader. No? So yung how do you lead? How do you make it sure that amidst the differences when it comes to personality or orientation of employees, you are still able to what? You're still able to extract cooperation from them. Okay. And also the role of policies. Okay. So that is why there are policies, there are vision, mission that are laid down is simply to what? To make it sure that we are all moving on the same direction. Okay? And that these policies are helping us or guiding us to get there collectively. Okay? So schools in partnership with their community have their own picture. Okay. So I'm sure you know what it meant by school policies. Okay. So that's for Unit 5. Now we have Unit 6, Organizational Leadership. So dito lang, ini-enumerate lang niya kung ano yung mga iba't ibang leadership styles. So I'm sure this is not the first time that you will be hearing these leadership styles. But anyway, we try to connect it as much as possible to school or schools or educational institutions. So what are organizational leader or what is organizational leadership? It refers to attitude and work ethics that empowers an individual in any role to lead from the top, middle, or bottom of an organization. Okay? So it depends upon the type of organization. But if we talk about educational institutions in the context of CSU, for example, we follow a hierarchy. So the top management is the Board of Regents. It's the Board of Regents of the CSU that is the decision-making, that has the decision-making authority. Okay? So the decision-making authority lies on the Board of Regents. And it is and those under, particularly on the level of the deans, they are the implementors. They are the middle managers. No? So yung mga designated officials natin, lalong-lalo na sa level ng campus, directors, down to the deans, they are middle managers. Okay? And of course, the bottom are, of course, tayo mga faculty and students, no? And the stakeholders. Okay? So applied to the school setting, the school leader helps anyone from the organization, not necessarily from the top, to lead others. Okay? So irrespective of whether of where are you in the hierarchy, no? Leadership is not always equal to management, no? Or it's not equal actually to management. So there's the difference between a manager and a leader. Okay? Now, what are the characteristics that must be possessed by a leader? Though it depends upon the leadership style, but usually the elements that are essential for leadership to actually for leaders actually are capabilities, practices, and approaches. No? Kung minsan parang sinasabi nila, leaders are born. No? So there are inherent characteristics that you actually possess being a leader. No? But definitely, whether it's born, it's inherent or what, you have the capabilities to lead. Okay? So, theory components are classified into, so yan, characteristics, ganun pa rin. Now, we look into the different leadership skills like communication, motivation, positivity, creativity, and feedback. Okay, I don't know if you observe this among your student leaders as well. Okay? But we try to look into the leadership styles. Okay? So, what are these leadership styles? Ano pala sa case ng sa case ng schools, no? Meron tayong educational leader na tinatawag, no? So the reason why is it that organizational leadership forms part of the topic that we have in this subject? It's simply because of the fact that we are recognizing the idea that some of you would not simply end up as school teachers, but as educational leaders as well. Oh? Though, of course, um, in your own way, you are considered a leader. Okay? So we have the following leadership styles. We have autocratic, from the term autocratic. Huh? The only one deciding is the leader. Leader has complete command and hold over their employees or team. No? So autocratic leaders are leaders who monopolize decisions. No? The team cannot put forward their views because the only view that is considered is the view of the leader. You cannot even give your peace of mind or your idea. Okay, you cannot question the leader's way of getting things done. No? Bakit? Kasi autocratic. What's the advantage of autocratic leader? When there is a concern that must be immediately resolved, okay, an autocratic style of leadership is very beneficial because you will no longer confer to your subordinates as to what to consider in making the decision because it's you who will do the decision. Okay? But as to the pitfall, disadvantage, anong disadvantage? Natural. Gusto nyo ba ng autocratic na leader? Yung walang ibang pakikinggan kundi sarili niya? Yung hindi pakikinggan ang point of view mo o ang feedback mo o ang explanation mo as a subordinate, no? It would lead to employee absenteeism and turnover. Hindi ka magiging motivated kung ganyan ang klase ng leader na meron ka. Then we also have the bureaucratic style of leadership. What about bureaucratic? Leaders strictly adhere to the organizational rules and policies. Okay, so black and white naman ito. Okay, whatever is laid down in the rules and policies that must be followed. There's no room for flexibility kasi bureaucracy nga eh. We have to follow what is by the book. Parang by the book itong leader na to. Okay? So, what is the advantage? Natural, when you adhere to laws and policies, you can never falter. Hindi ka magkakamali kapag lagi mong sinusunod kung ano ang tama. Pero kung masyadong rigid at walang flexibility, no? What does it what does it imply? What is its disadvantage, no? It discourages creativity and does not make the employees self-contented, no? Bakit? Kasi wala man lang consideration, wala man lang human considerations, no? Kasi laging by the book. Okay? Then we have the laissez-faire style of leadership. Leader totally trust their employees or team to perform the job themselves. No? Maganda ba 'yon? Medyo detached sila, no? Because they trust their employees, no? They concentrate on the intellectual, rational aspect and does not focus on management aspect. No? The team employees are welcome to share their views and provide their suggestions. Okay? So this style of leadership is applicable only when the employees are skilled, when they are loyal, when they are experienced, and when they are intellectual. Kasi lesser ang supervision dito. Parang inaalaw mo, o sige kayo na ang magdesisyon, kayo na ang gumawa and all. No? Eh, paano kung merong sabotage? Hindi loyal ang employee mo. Meron ding repercussion sa organization. Okay? So, hindi rin maganda kapag detached din ang leader at hinahayaan na ang employees ang gumawa ng lahat. Okay? Then we have democratic style of leadership. I'm sure you know what it meant by democratic. Leaders invite and encourage the team members to play an important role in the decision-making process. Although this is also a characteristic of the laissez-faire, no? How different would it be, no? Para kasing dito, parang meron pa ring engaged pa rin kasi si leader. Sa laissez-faire kasi detached siya. Nahayaan niya na lang, o sige kayo nang bahala, no? Sa democratic kasi ano ang pwede nating gawin. So meron pa ring sense of leadership sa part ng leader. Okay? So I am leading you towards this decision, parang ganun. Okay? I'm sure you know what it meant by democratic, no? So while it is more advantage because it lead more advantages on the part of the employees because it leads to satisfied, motivated, and more skilled employees. The only disadvantage is that it may be time consuming. Kasi every now and then, you always have to confer on the views of the majority. No? So parang, o sige, hindi ka rin makadesisyon as a leader. Lagi mong kino-consider kung ano ang sasabihin ng mga empleyado mo o ng mga subordinates mo. Then we also have situational style of leadership. So what does it mean by situational style of leadership? Leaders adapt their leadership style to the situation of the members of the organization. So that's why it leads into 4 behavior styles. We have selling, directing, telling or coaching, participating or supporting, and delegating. So when do you direct your employees? When do you make use of directing as a behavior style? No? So when individuals or your employees lack the specific skills required for the job in hand and they are willing to work at the task, no? So willing sila na gawin yung task pero hindi sila ganun ka-skilled. So, kaya you are directing. Okay? So, um, you model the behavior. Okay? Coach. Individuals are more able to do the task, however, they are demotivated, no? For this job or task. So you have to coach them. Medyo parang ano, may pagka salungat, no? Kasi kanina yung sa selling or directing, they lack the skills, but they are enthusiastic. Dito, they have the skills, but they are not motivated. Okay? So, ano pa? Participating or supporting individuals experience and are able to do the task. Ate, mahulog mo siya. Okay? But lack the confidence or the willingness to take the responsibility. Okay? So, we have to support. Ano pa? Delegate. When do you delegate? When they are experienced at the task, they are comfortable on their ability to do it, and they are, though they are able and willing to not only do the task, but so ito yung ang tawag nito, ideal, no, yung delegating. Okay? Then we have servant leadership. Okay? The best example or epitome of servant leadership is Christ. Ano ba yung servant leadership, ma'am? Okay? Seeks to involve others in decision making is strongly based in ethical and caring behavior. Okay? So there is servant leadership when your goal actually is to serve. Oh, the desire of the servant leader is to serve. Okay? So the best example of one with a service leadership style is Rice. Okay? And yung trend ngayon is transformational leadership. Okay? So what is transformational from the word transform? You don't rest on the status quo, but there is a need for you to transform. Okay? So what is transformational leadership? Ayan. What are the things that you should do in order to transform? You should collaborate, you should be a visionary, you should engage. Oh? So these are the very things that you may do as a transformational leader. Now, how different is leadership with management? Okay? In terms of okay. So sabi dito, managers administer while leaders innovate. Their process is transactional for managers, no? So kumbaga parang business is business. Parang ano. So okay? The process is transactional. Ate, maganon siya, oh. The process is transactional. For leaders, the process is transformational. So managers are work focused while leaders are people focused. No, the goal is to get things done. While for leaders, the goal is what? Results, but at the same time, the well-being of the people. Managers have subordinates while leaders have followers. Okay? Managers do things right. Kasi results-oriented yung mga yan. No? Uh, um, whatever it is, the only thing that is important to them is that you were able to do the task. Okay? While leaders do the right thing. Okay? So it may not always be the result that matters, no? But you also consider along the process the what? Your people. Okay, so yan. So a school head, may mga ano yan, may mga tawag dyan, may mga department orders, lalo na sa ano, sa DepEd. When it comes to duties and functions ng mga leaders. Kahit sa CSU, meron tayong tinatawag na special order, no? At sa special order, usually, nakalagay doon yung duties and functions. Okay? So a school head must be both a leader and a manager. A school head leads the school and community to formulate the vision, mission, goals, and school improvement plan. So school improvement plan, no? You might also want to look into this, no? School improvement plans. Because some of you might end up as school leaders as well. Okay? So, yan. Tingnan na lang ninyo tong roles and competencies. But in general, there are type of skills that are demanded of leaders. And what are these? We have 3. Technical, human, and conceptual. Technical skills, syempre dapat mateki ka din. Kasi hindi ka laging merong secretary na gagawa ng mga technical aspect ng trabaho mo. Although yun ang usually nakikita natin sa mga designated, meron silang mga sekretaryeng tagagawa. Hindi rin maganda kapag dependent ka sa secretary mo. You must also learn by yourself, no? Particularly when you do this task, no? Bakit? Kasi katulad nga na sabi ko, it's not your secretary is not always there to do these things for you. Then human skill, usually ito yung pinaka kailangan meron ka, no? Kasi as a leader, paano mo mapapasunod? How will you make it sure that your subordinates would follow your instructions or would follow you, no? Minsan following without threat, no? Yun yung pinaka magandang aspeto ng leadership, yung napapasunod mo sila because they respect you, not because they are just threatened, no, of your instructions. Okay? So your ability to build teamwork or to work effectively with people. Then we have conceptual skills. These are ability to think in terms of models, frameworks, and so in short, conceptual skills deal with ideas, while human skill concerns relationship, and technical skills involve psychomotor skills. Okay? So all of these 3 are essential in what? In school leadership. Okay? So, ano ba tong sustaining change na to? Paano ba siya napunta dyan? Okay. So, tingnan na lang natin. Ayan. For reforms to transform, the innovations introduced by the transformational leader must be institutional and sustained. Kasi sabi ko nga, ang trend ngayon ay transformational leadership. So how can we sustain change? No? So by following these processes, clearly define the change and align it to organizational goals. Ito na yung ginagawa ni OIC President ngayon. Although of course, kahit anong or kahit sinong leader, usually magdedepende ang kanilang processes sa kung ano ang priority nila. So for example, as kay OIC President Ibanez, ang priority niya ay yung continuity ng accreditation at yung improvement ng COPC status ng mga programs natin. So lahat nakaangkla doon. Okay? Kaya bakit meron tayong ISO, meron tayong ISA, meron tayong accreditation. In fact, pati yung mga teachers na ginagawa ng accreditors. Bakit kaya? Because this is the trust and the priority of the current administration. So it has to be clearly defined if there is a change that you would want to introduce in the organization. It has to be clearly defined and it must be aligned to organizational goals. Okay? Determine the impacts and those that are affected. Definitely, whether we like it or not, in an organization like schools, the very persons who are affected are the stakeholders. So, we must make it sure that when changes are introduced, no, we are to what? We are to parang consider also, weigh, no? Weigh the impact of these changes to the stakeholders, no? So parang there is now a move on the tuition fee. Kaya parang may time noon na inano kayo minute kayo Tapos nag-standardize sila ng tuition fees, no? I don't know kung when will that push through or if it would push through because it would of course entail ate mauntog siya it would entail what? It would entail um amendment of the Unifast law. Okay? Yeah. Development of or develop a communication strategy. So how will you communicate these changes or the introduction of these changes? Measure the change process, implement a support structure, and provide effective training. Okay? So, ayan. Nandun naman yan sa binigay kong handouts. So I think these are the very gist of these two topics. So in case you have questions, I will be posting the link of this discussion to our GC. And in case you have questions, you may raise it in terms of or you may just scribble it on our GC and we try to what's that? We try to discuss ba. Okay? So that's all for this lecture. Thank you and good day.